testifying, like telling us how much more about our protagonist on the show today. It's exactly 16 minutes to 1 here in the studio of Apex One Radio. If you are just joining us, then thank you so much. And like I said, our guest is a YouTuber. She is a content maker with scores of works, which you can always, log on and watch. Entertaining works, educative works, and of course, works that are highly informational in nature. Once again, thank you so much. So, Lua, I want to ask you this question. I know you are more active on YouTube than any social media handle. But before you became a YouTuber, had you been active on any of the other social media platforms?
I was a little bit active on Facebook, and I'm still
Okay.
very personal stuff. I just shared like everybody else. I just shared personal stuff, family stuff. But I think I've been on Facebook for over 10 years, like most of us, and slightly less present on Instagram. I had some Snapchat. I was really never big as such till the bug beat me. Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting because I know that depending on what your content is and your target audience, people choose different social media handles
Mhm.
to carry on the message they want to carry on and to make sure that the right people are getting this information. So you've mentioned Facebook around about 10 years or so. What about YouTube? This is where we find your content more. So how long have you been on YouTube?
I have had a YouTube account for about 7 years, but
Oh,
I opened a YouTube account to produce content
Mhm.
actually less than 2 years ago, a year and a half. I think in June it'll be 2 years already.
Okay.
It was in 2021
Okay.
during partway through lockdown.
Mhm. And when you took that decision to come on YouTube and start producing content to dish out to the rest of the world, what was your motivation at that time?
So there are two things that made me have a YouTube channel. The first was driven by demand, and I always say this and I laugh about it. I said I did not really know what YouTube is. Very naive me saying this, but that's the
Mhm.
truth. I took YouTube as an educational platform where I'll learn where to, when to, right?
Mhm.
So just search for stuff, how to cook Achu, for example. I learned it on
Okay.
YouTube. Um, and I just used it like a means to learn. I did not
mm,
realize that they had a lot of entertainment, or what we call it educatement nowadays, where you
Mhm.
educate and entertain
edutainment.
people at the same
Mm,
time.
mm,
Okay.
So I learned that only after I'd been posting a few videos, and I realized that actually people don't want to know how to do stuff all the time. People just use
Mhm.
YouTube as a form of entertainment. I clocked on that a bit late, but the main driver was I had always struggled with my weight.
mm.
Um, but when I say this, maybe it might not be so obvious because people think that my weight has been okay, but it's been the opposite. I've always been
Okay.
either very big today, very small tomorrow, and growing up, I was always chubby. So, but I managed to stay healthy, and it's just basically what I consume. And I've been helping a few people, like my mom was my first guinea pig almost 8 years ago. Yeah, she was a guinea pig, and it worked, to be fair. I sent her like a diet plan.
Where's your lab rat?
She was a lab rat to make it nice, sound better. Um, and most
Uh,
people kept saying, send me this recipe or help me to lose weight, and it worked. So I decided to actually have a YouTube channel to share that. That was the first
okay.
thing.
Okay. Wow.
And then the second one, just before I finished, was my son. We have a son who plays football, and
Okay.
a lot of football lovers, especially Cameroonians who are far away, family kept saying, share his progress. I want to watch him play. How do you juggle it? So it was more of Tristan's football and trying to lose weight. That's what made me open a YouTube channel.
Wow.
Hmm.
That
Someone who plays football and you trying to lose weight, some of the things that kind of motivated you to start a YouTube channel, which has turned out to be a successful adventure. Her name is Lua Fongod. She is the main protagonist in this edition of Apex Snapshots on Apex One Radio, the edition of February the 24th, 2023. We're live from the United States of America. And welcome on board if you are just joining us. My name is Ernest, and she is
blessing Ekiko.
right. So,
Yeah. Um, I love the fact that you did mention this personal experiences that caused the YouTube channel we now have today, which we are so happy that you started on this and are dishing out quite a lot. When we look at your channel, we notice that your topics cut across the board. Yes, your son was an inspiration, losing weight, coming up with the right diet for your viewers to help themselves has been a good push for you. However, these topics cut across the board. So, can we say that you have discovered a niche or a piece of interest, or are you directing these messages now in a whole different path? So, what could be your niche, or is it just general?
So my so the under what underpins my channel is
Yeah.
adding value and making yourself the better version of yourself. So
Okay.
that is quite generic, but that
Mm-hmm.
covers a lot. Looking healthy, looking fit, keeping healthy, and being healthy is getting yourself to a better version, right?
Oh wow.
Talk about money
Mm-hmm.
quite a bit. I talk about habits, day-to-day habits. And
Okay.
I also, when I talk about my son, it's giving value because I can't really list the number of people who've gained from
Mm,
advice, especially parents who have kids abroad who are talented, don't know where to go to.
mm,
Numerous, and respond people's emails every minute about their kids, and that's giving value. So I think,
mhm,
although it might seem quite broad, I don't really like to just do videos all the time on, oh, I'm having fun. I might be having
yeah.
fun, and I'll put something there that adds
mhm,
value, maybe a meal I prepared or a decision
Mm-hmm.
I made. So I just try to add value, but the main thing is my healthy eating journey, as well as just being a mom who multitasks. And that's
Mm.
something, again, we can all learn from. Not like I'm perfect, no, 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 no. But at least, I juggle it. So just adding value, really. Personal improvement.
Adding value, personal improvement. And of course, everybody out there would want to improve on a daily basis. They wouldn't just want to be stagnated, whether it is mentally, physically, financially, academically. Wherever we find ourselves, we want to see that we're growing. And that, of course, should be value if anyone wants to improve in these areas. Don't you think so, okay,
of
Ernest?
course, growth is always valuable.
Mm,
And for you to grow, you need to change and adapt to changes that come
that's right.
your way. And like we mentioned earlier on, she really does it differently because she wants something valuable out of what she does. And we've spoken to a few people who consume her works, and they've all confirmed that her works do add value
Yeah.
to their lives. Her name
Yeah.
is Lua Fongod. She is our guest in today's edition of Snapshots on Apex One Radio. So, Lua, you're going to take a very short break, maybe 30 seconds, time for you to catch your breath. Then, when we come back, we'll delve into your videos. This is Apex One Radio. This is Snapshots.
Thank you.
playing after time.
Reims Court in that beautiful 2016 piece of music there featuring Wax Day. And it has brought the time to 5 minutes to 1 here in the studio of Apex One Radio in the United Kingdom, precisely in the great old city of Manchester. Is 5:55. Manchester, from where our guest is speaking. She is Lua Fongod, a YouTuber par excellence. And of course, the show is hosted here in the studio by two of us. There is Blessing Ekiko
Ernest Kanjo.
with Marcel Adig producing from Varsut in Switzerland. If you are just joining us, thank you so much for doing so. Wax Day and Realm Squad in Chopnode. If we debray dans la vie, beautiful piece of music there by Realm Squad featuring Wax Day, released in 2016. If my memory is intact. Right, so it has brought time to 3 minutes to 1 here in the studio of Apex One Radio. We're going back to our conversation with our guests on the show. Meantime, we'll be listening to Nabil Fongod when he comes on the airwaves. And Nabil happens to be the sibling of our guest today. What a beautiful coincidence. Carol is also on standby in the United Kingdom, ready to tell us about her friend. And of course, Miye Petra will be joining us from Houston in Texas. But for now, let's find out from Lua what her videos really offer to our audience. Lord, welcome back.
Hi.
Right. So when looking at your works, and we fell on this recent one, of course, the most recent, and there you were talking about the high value woman. And I looked through it critically, and this is what caught my attention. You said the woman who is considered as high value is not necessarily the one who's wealthy, who has money. So when thinking, I said, but you are speaking to a new world audience where people want to live flashy lives, people want to be wealthy. Like, I mean, what are you talking about? Can you throw more light on that?
Funny that you went to that video. It's deliberate because I'm sure if you have a YouTube channel, you know that you have your demographics. You can see the demographics of those who watch your videos.
Mm-hmm.
And I think lately there are certain buzzwords that get used in either urban culture or young people. We talk that, they're very periodic. People talk about the real MVP, somebody who is like a key player. Talk about people who are like boss chicks, boss ladies. And it just makes people feel like, oh, I want to be this person. But I talked about high value women because it's been used to characterize a modern woman recently. When I say
Okay.
recently, I mean over the past 3 years. Most people are like, are you a high value woman? Do you add value? It's so vague what it means.
Mm.
And I'm doing a series of leveling up in your 30s because I have learned a lot. And the way as I said before, is giving back, adding value.
Yeah.
And the things that I have learned, if I knew them then, if I
Mm.
watched videos like this, if I interacted, I will come out a lot better than I am now. And I can say that without feeling ashamed.
Mm-hmm.
And categorizing somebody as a high value woman, I initially thought it was about being a rich woman or somebody who looked very bougie, looked very pretty, and all that. And I did a
Yeah.
lot of research because I realized that all of that is in the mind. And
Okay.
I have grown to the point where I see beyond the physical, and I
Yeah.
look a lot about your mental well-being and how you feel about yourself. And that's why
Mm.
I said it's nothing to do with how much your bank balance is. It's how you're perceived, because that's
Mm.
how value is calculated. And how you're
Mm-hmm.
perceived is how you perceive yourself first,
That's right.
right? So it's a very, very deep conversation that most people don't get. But
It's
if
quite
you do, you
philosophical.
do. And though I've not had a lot of views on that, I've had a lot of feedback personally to me saying
Okay.
it's resonated with people, and it's always striving. I remember one lady writing to me and saying, do you mean that if I don't have self-confidence, if I don't have self-respect, if I don't have discipline, which is another big thing, I'm not? I
Mm-hmm.
said, no, you cannot have everything. Whatever you have, the main thing that you should do is value yourself high. And once you start having that confidence, people around you feel like they're like that. But discipline is a
Yeah.
big one because young people lack discipline.
Discipline. That's right. That makes a lot of sense. I love the fact that you just mentioned you have a young lady who will get to you and ask, does it mean if I don't do these, or if I don't have self-esteem or self-confidence, does that definitely mean that I'm not one of those on this spectrum you're talking about? Would you say that this is one of the major misconceptions that you were trying to break? Because you see it and think about it yourself, but did you see that other people were having that kind of misconception? That's what prompted you to do this specific video?
Absolutely.
Mm.
Absolutely. And I spend my time watching a lot of inspirational and educational videos on YouTube. I can just be getting all my day and I have it in my ear. And I
Okay.
Google half the time because I think, oh my God, that sounds like me, And then I gather all of this with my life experience and I spit it back, right? Spit
Wow.
it back with a lot more certainty because I am always on the hot seat. And
Mm.
if you ask me, and I mentioned the video, if you ask me first, what do I rate myself in every aspect? I'm not being arrogant, but I'll rate myself really high. Not only in my
Mm-hmm.
looks, like I always say, or in my mental capacity, because I might not be better than the next person, but I think I am. I think I'm all
Yeah.
that. So once you start having that kind of mindset, you move away from always feeling like you're empty.
Yeah.
Feel like you're abundant. Feel like you're great. And I think once you start feeling that way, you act it, and then it comes. So
That's
that's
right.
another characteristic
You would even be
of I
able to
want people
declare it just like you just did. Because if you
exactly.
see yourself as empty, there is no way you're going to dish out or declare out of a place of abundance, because you always see
Absolutely.
lack. You always feel like this place is not, I'm not in the right place. I'm not supposed to have this. And personally, I kind of think that this is why some people think they are not worthy of certain breakthroughs, opportunities, partners, friends, all because the mindset already is lacking somewhere. So they can't manifest it.
Mm.
Wow, that's a good one.
That's a good one indeed. And her name is Lua Fongod. She is the protagonist on the show today. So, like I said, this is your most recent upload talking about the high value woman. What has been the reaction to this video? What are people telling you about it without necessarily talking about the comments they've written under the video on YouTube?
The thing is, the thing about most of my videos is people feel better contacting me, people who know me.
Mhm.
Mm.
Instead of putting comments, they always, if you know me, they write to me on Instagram. or they write to me and say, oh, this was good. I always have negative. The thing is, if you don't have negative feedback, you're not doing anything.
That's right.
The people who will always have something negative to say. But in this instance, I know somebody actually asked me if I knew a coach. That was a strange request. She said she felt like she has to work on herself. Some people have these things natural. Some people are just naturally more confident, right? Some people just naturally are more disciplined. Maybe the DNAs are that way. Others have to work harder. And I even mentioned about continuous improvement, how you need to be better. Like I feel like I don't stop. It could be looked at as being ungrateful, but I feel like I carry on wanting to be better. And I mentioned coaching. I said, if you think that you might be lacking, do something. The lady said to me, you've said all of this. I don't have any of that. I'm not married. And she went straight to the relationships. And I said to her, I said, the reason why you want to be a woman of high values, because you don't need anybody to make you feel like you need to be in a box. You just need to be happy and add value, and then you attract the right people like the light. So I've had mixed feedback, like I always do my videos, but I think that video is one that if you watch, is one of my, I think, most valuable videos I've done recently. It's only about 3 days old.
That's great content. We love the fact that you're always bringing value to the table, and that's what actually makes you a high value woman. When you bring value. So we are happy we have a high value woman in the house. Oh, we have two.
Of course. Let's miss one.
Okay. So I believe that people who are already watching right now are more like, okay, I think I need to up my game so I can actually be this high value woman and not just be a bossy lady. I think boss lady doesn't mean bossy.
Boss lady just means the woman who is courageous enough to do stuff for herself, and I mean, responsible.
It's always attributed to businesses and money as opposed to personality traits.
Oh yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah, it's always attributed to being a high flyer. But I think women of value, high value women are housewives sometimes. You don't have to have a high bank balance.
I just feel like it's that woman who can strike a balance everywhere.
It's a mindset thing.
Correct.
Okay. So recently you also had a video that went up and it had to do with friendships in your 30s. Friendships in your 30s. Why the attention on 30s? Why didn't you say friendships in your 20s or friendships in your 40s? Why 30s?
Beautiful question.
Because I think 20-year-olds will not listen to me. Because when you're 20, these things don't interest you. And I always try to put myself when I was there. I thought I knew it. When you're younger, you think you know more than you actually do. And I'll let people get away with a lot of mistakes in their 20s because it's a learning curve, right? I would not sit down here and be dishing advice if I had a perfect 20s, right? So sometimes I think being in a laboratory or being in real life, making mistakes and learning from them is the way to learn. So I will not focus, but once you start getting to 30, then those excuses really need to change, and then you need to be more deliberate.
Yeah.
So in other words, you said that you will forgive every mistake. You forgive every mistake made while you are in your 20s. Is that what you're insinuating? So as a matter of fact, life begins at 30.
Yes.
Okay.
Especially for a woman. Especially for a woman, because that's when I think you, and as I said in the video, I particularly said in your 30s, because one, I am in my 30s, but I'm not early on because I am going to be 40 soon. So I'm just carrying a lot of the things that I learned and things that I see around me, especially when it comes to friendship, because it's the most rocky period of most people's lives. One, you're probably starting a family or not, which is a problem if you're not, or if you are, because it comes with mental breakdowns, it comes with mistakes, it comes with parenting,
anxiety,
it comes with sleepless nights like a mom, with husband issues or non-issues. it is a difficult time. So if you have the right energy and friends around you, all the other issues seem slightly less of a problem.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
And this is not to say that in your 20s, because there are some deliberate
Mhm.
people in their 20s who have actually achieved a whole lot.
Yep.
And there are also others who have lost it along the way. So just so our viewers are not taking this out of context, in your 20s, you are permitted to be deliberate so that you can get things right. But just in case you weren't and you missed it back then, that's why we have this for you in your 30s, so that you can strike that balance and pick up again. It caught my attention because I was like, I'm in my 30s, so okay, let's see, how does this go? All right then.
All right. Not saying that a lot of people also say that age is just
A number.
numbers, yes, which means even in your 20s, you can still think reasonably well. I looked at that video further. Something caught my attention as well, Loa. So you said if who opts to become a pilot, when
you would say you want to be a pilot too?
Right. So if you say you want to be a pilot and your friend says she wants to be a pilot as well, you were saying that jealousy should be suspected at this point. So don't you think that your friend's desire could equally mean that she's inspired by what you do? Otherwise, is there anything wrong in being inspired by your friend or copying what your friend is doing, which is right?
No, absolutely not. This is a clear example of where sometimes you can take a particular phrase slightly out of context.
Yeah.
So what I said was healthy competition is good at best.
At best.
And the bottom line I always say is, and this might sound a bit brash, but I always look at people who I admire, right? And want to make them my pets, even they're not friends. Let me not even use the word friend. Acquaintances. I admire for the right reasons. Now, what I said was, it's good to be a role model to people, yes, but if you cannot be happy for somebody else and always feel like it has to be about you, that is a red flag. Because it's a very, very subconscious thing that people do, right? And that was maybe a bit of an exaggerated example, but just to put it back in day-to-day activities or day-to-day occurrences.
I think it's reality. It happens.
It happens. You can say that I'm in nursing school, right? And I'm in my second year. I'm loving it. Blessing, you are in your fifth year of medical school.
Yeah.
We will never have any. We don't have to be doing the same thing. We're in different fields. But the day I find you and you tell me that you're in medical school, and that's the point where I don't want to be a nurse anymore. That is the problem.
Exactly. That's why I say it happens, and that's the reality. And unfortunately, with women, you can easily get this aspect coming in. And I love the fact that she said you are doing something, but the moment your friend is doing some other thing or excelling in something, you all of a sudden want to take the same title, or you want to be found in that same space so that you too can be said to be that thing. I think that's where she meant you should suspect jealousy.
Got it.
Yeah, I think we had to balance the context very well, so our viewers do not miss it.
Blessing. Spot on.
Thank you. Seriously, I love this particular one because I was like, I've seen it happen one too many times, and it has caused a lot of healthy friendships to fall along the way, because you constantly see that it's like there's a silent competition, negative competition that no one is voicing out, but you can sense that every moment I make this move, you want to make the same move. In fact, if I got married, maybe you need to get married too the next minute.
Things like that. This is Apex One Radio. Thank you if you are just joining us. It's 1:14 here in the studio of Apex One Radio. It's 6:14 in Manchester from where our guest is speaking. I guess it's time for us now to take a break, not with music, but with yet another guest who will be telling us what he knows about our protagonist today. Nabil Fongod has been on standby in Douala, and like we announced earlier on, he will be here live to talk about our guest, who incidentally is his sister. Now, from Douala, Nabil now joins us. Nabil, how are you today? Welcome to the program.
Hey, I'm fine. Thank you. It's a pleasure to be back here.
I know.
Yeah, we love having you here.
It's always a pleasure when we have you on air.
Always.
So before we ride on, how is everything going? How is business?
Pretty good. It's a good year. It's going to be a great year.
It is.
It's amazing since we already know that Nabil is the sibling to our protagonist. We can't even go asking him how long have you known her. It should be all his life.
Of course. But the question we'll probably ask him, which I deliberately did not ask Lua, is Nabil the elder one or he's the younger one? So Nabil, you tell us.
It's something that we always like to play around with. We start by asking you guys what you think.
Okay, let me look. Let me see. Nabil, Lua. Nabil looks. Nabil, it looks like
the beards have like it's cause, and he keeps touching it. Like that's what he's trying to use to intimidate us. But I think it could be the younger, because the younger ones always have that, air. So that's my younger.
I think
sister.
He's the older one.
Anyway, it's a good thing we are on different ends here. So please tell us so we know who takes the cup.
All right. Well, this one I have to give it to Ernest because, you're right. But we always say we're twins because there's 1 year, 4 months difference between both of us. So it's like twins, and like women always grow fast. So Lua is like my elder sister. I don't even worry about that because mentally and the power that she has and the force that she has and the position she also has in the family. It's she's like my mom. So she's like. Yeah, I don't mind. You can push it wherever.
That's beautiful.
Tell us about when both of you were growing up, and because there's this fighting between siblings, and so just tell us about. Take us back to those years as infants.
It's very strange though when we was growing up, because Lua is really a woman of value, a lady of valor. Because she's always grown up with certain values that were not necessarily things we accepted or were okay with growing up, But Lua would tell on you because she was not because she she was just trying to snitch, but she would tell on you because I think she's she cared about you. So if you're gonna do something that she's probably scared that you could get
it's going to be
trouble
detrimental
or you could get hurt, she's going to she'll tell on you so that it doesn't happen, so it can stop you from happening. But growing up, she was the only girl. So you have to understand that she's really tough as nails. She has 2 elder brothers that are helpful. You understand? And she always stood up to us. Even physically, don't try her. Yeah, she'll whoop your ass.
Wow.
Okay, that's a good one.
Okay.
Ernest moved on his seat wait a minute, I didn't know that part.
I know.
Yeah.
Wow.
She was always, she grew up with all of us, and she was never, like I said, the age distance is really not much.
Not that wide, yeah.
So it was like twins, it was like twins. And like I said, females they develop mentally a lot faster in so many ways. So she was always but she's always been a very strong one. She's a very tough one.
Wow.
That's a love.
I know one thing I gossiped about, when I was off mic with Lua, is that you guys come from a family that is gifted. Like everyone in the family is talented. You are not only a great radio personality, you have also done music, you've been in movies, you do virtually everything that requires some talent and skills. She is talented as well. I've had the opportunity to interact with your cousins, including Roderick Numia, who works with me on Apex One Radio. Very talented people. So where is I mean, where's all of this coming from? Is it just some kind of blessings? Or?
Is it a matter of the fruit does not fall far from the tree?
But I think it's a combination of a lot of things too. Because if you look at from my father's side, even when I go into the movie industry, I mean, a lot of people talk to me about Stanley Fongod, who's my uncle from my father's side, who's very prominent in the entertainment industry as far as movies is concerned. And also in the movie industry in Cameroon, a lot of veterans always talk to me about my uncle, who is my mom's brother, Achu, who was one of the very first cinematographers in Cameroon, you know, and who's done a whole lot of great stuff. So talking about falling far from the street, that is the first start. I think secondly, also for our nuclear family, you know, my parents gave us the opportunity to be creative, and I think I really definitely have to give them the credit for that. Because when I look at the way other homes, like people raise their kids, there was not so much room for that. I remember growing up, I've always wanted to be an actor, like she can testify. And even though, you know, they had a lot to say about it, they didn't kill my dreams. And something that I've seen way too many times, like you have a child who's not yet 10 years old. I was speaking about trying to be an actor, even though they're like, yeah, you have to go to school, you have to do this, you know, but they still encouraged me in that. And some other times they're just like, no, you have to kill that dream. Don't even think about it. You have to do this, you have to do this. And I think if they put that state of mind in us, if they instill that in us, we probably would not have, I'll not probably be able to do what I do today. And also even spills out to my sister who, you know, my sister is a perfect example of what our parents wanted us to be. She went to her school, a university, she's married, she has her kids, she's cooking food, living in the house. And then the craziest thing about it is that same freedom that we grew up with that led us to be creative is prophesying in her today. And just before it's a few minutes ago, when this interview was going on, I thought about it for a minute, like, wow, this is the first time that she's sitting on my seat. And I started saying, wow, there's a lot of talent going on here. Please don't forget the next generation. Tristan, the football player. Do you understand what I'm saying? My daughter, she's going to be 18 next month, and she's been sending me dance videos. She's in dance classes. My little child that's 4 is an actress. Actually, just, you know, so I think that we have been able to grow on that. And remember, Lua, growing up in Nigeria, there's always light shortage, always been light shortage. And I remember in the nights when there'll be no lights in the house, we'll put candles, and 3 of us will come together, and we'll make a drama, prepare a drama, a play, and then we'll present it to my parents.
Oh, wow. So you had your own cinema hall at home?
Yeah, they will actually sit down and, you know, we'll prepare a stage, and then there will be our audience, and then we'll plan everything and start it and finish it and bow down. We did so many things. I remember sometimes to play animals, like, you know, this animal, and we acted like that.
You know, it's so great knowing that you have parents who are supportive, like they can see that this is who my child can become and wants to become.
But of course, these are the results we're seeing.
These are the results. So it goes without saying that parents out there should be more alert toward this.
Support, I think sometimes, you know, it's not really even just about knowing what your child can be, but it's just about feeding your child's dreams, like, you know, and encouraging your child in whatever, because the creative field right now is taking over the world. At first, we felt like you have to be either a doctor or, you know, like really growing up, that's what we thought. And if you look at it today, it's really not that, it's really not the case. And I think that the things are evolving. I mean, more billionaires are made in the creative field than in the medical field every year. So I mean, like, more YouTubers have gone, like, you know, so it's changed, or more billionaires are made in the sports field than in engineering or any other thing. So I think that the fact that things are changing, if you really love your child, like the love that we got from our parents, so that's something I cannot deny that we had a lot of. They just wanted to see us happy, and then they would just wanted to, you know, this is what makes you happy. It doesn't hurt anybody. Go ahead and do it. And that's how I got the opportunity to start my career. Because if I wasn't my parents, I don't think I'd started my career as a teenager, like, you know, just straight out of high school.
All right, then let's take a dive into this. Often there is a statement that is made: a prophet is not known in their hometown or in their own area, but we can already clearly see that you uphold your sister in high esteem. But now let's come to what we're talking about, the content she's creating on YouTube. Do you
Right.
watch her content?
Oh, yeah, yes, I do. Absolutely
So,
do.
what can you say about maybe one of them that stood out for you? What stood out for you about that
Um,
content?
the first thing I must say, I probably never have opportunity to tell her, but I'm so impressed. Okay, and then it starts to justify. As some say, they always said like I was good on radio and all of that, but I never. It's me, so I didn't understand what they're talking about. But if this is how I used to be, then badu. So I'm first of all very impressed. She talks. See, guys, she speaks really very well. You understand, and like I'm first of all impressed, and secondly, I think that I was also thinking about it a few minutes ago. We are Baha'is, and we grew up in a very liberal religious environment. Our parents taught us the Baha'i faith at home. They sent us to Makaranta Islamia. We know something about the Quran. We were born in the north of Nigeria, like she told you. And then we went to Christian schools. And we've also been able to educate ourselves about other religions, which is what the Baha'i faith says, that we should be able to, independent investigation of truth. I think growing up as a Baha'i child with that freedom, not just for a mindset, because religion is it's something that they use to control people's mindsets a lot. So when you grow up under very strong religious doctrines, it determines how your mindset is. But if you grow up under a religious doctrine like we did, it does not just represent you as religious wise, but spiritually it grows you. Now I'm not talking about religion, I'm talking about spiritually. And something like I really never paid attention to is how
Yeah.
spiritual, for instance, that my sister is. And I think that comes like I said again, it comes from that background of having an open state of mind. So something that has really, really impressed me also about her and her videos is how philosophical she is. And that philosophy is what I call spirituality. Because when you start understanding certain things, like when we grow up about life and just what we believe the world is about, or what religion tells us, or how religion hinders us from seeing other things, and we grow on a religion where our parents tell us, "Hey, check out this religion, check out this religion, check out this religion." This is what Bible is
Okay.
about. It helps us to be
Yeah.
open-minded to so many things, and I think that mindset has been able to develop Lua's content to be very philosophical and very real and very realistic and practical.
That's
So that's the
amazing.
first
Thank
thing
you
about it
very
that I must say
much
about
for
it.
sharing that with us. So, for those of you who are wondering what the content is, as can deliver, you can get it firsthand as well from her brother, and of course, her performance of the language and mastery of the subject matter that she's handling in each video is something to definitely look up to. So, those of you who are just hearing about her for the first time, you want to start going on to subscribe to her YouTube channel.
Right. Beautiful.
Absolutely.
So we are speaking with Nabil Fongod, brother. He is brother to Lua, our protagonist for the day. Just before we let you go, Nabil,
Yeah.
before she created her YouTube channel, did she seek advice from you? And has she been contacting you from time to time to, ask for some guidance, given that you are quite involved in audiovisual production?
To what would shock you is that she's my professor. Like, yeah. I go to her for advice. Like, yeah,
Tables have
Okay.
turned.
I go to her for advice. She's the one she runs and she's the boss. I go to her for advice. There's nothing much I can tell her about what she wants to do. To be very frank with you, I'm more into entertainment. The things that I was thinking about something, Lua, and I thought about it, and I really thought about it today when you were talking, because I think that philosophically we could always explore a lot of things, and that's how I also think. I go deeper and think about stuff like that. I never realized that that's how you do it too, especially when you talk about females and stuff that I really impress. I was thinking like, yo, we could really do a podcast, my sister and me, or my brother and
Right.
me.
Mm-hmm.
You feel me?
Okay.
And we really talk about a lot of stuff. Just to let you know, like,
Mm-hmm.
she doesn't come to me for what she does. She's taking the right time, like he says. She's taking the right time to study, to understand stuff. She's way more patient. She's way more intellectual than I am, because I go with like creativity and just talent, pure talent, and she takes a lot more time to figure out just cross the T's and dot the I's, and she knows exactly what she's doing. So Lua is somebody who might go ahead and do something, because she's doing it by the letter. I'm someone who just probably heard and goes do something that will be good, but it would just be from pure instinct. You understand? And that's different between me and her. So if I have to go back to the book, I have to go back to her.
Beautiful. We're going to
So
let you
yeah,
go.
we talk all the
But
time. I talk. She tells me about what she has to do, but she kind of like just informs me. I have nothing to say. Nothing to add.
Okay.
At some point.
Beautiful. And we're going to let you go, Nabil, so you can catch
Yeah,
up
just
with us.
before I go, please. Just before I
Yes.
go. Before I go, I got to say, Axel, the movie is out. People start anticipating it, you know what I'm saying? Sharing it out. It's the biggest action movie coming out of Africa this year. It is the
What is
first of
the
its kind in
movie?
Cameroon.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Okay, Lua. Okay, directed by
Yeah,
Dr. Ken
and
Stevens.
we could directed by Dr. Ken Stevens, but I think it's a revolution and everybody should be talking about it. I don't know if you had the opportunity to see the trailer and or whatever. We're going to definitely premiere it worldwide. It's going to be on Netflix, but I want all of us to really talk about it because it's a movie revolution. There's never been anything like that, and like I said, it's the first time in so long that Cameroon has a product that we can compete on the world since Indomitable Lions or Francis Gano or Pascal Siakam or Jordan Big. Like this
That's a
is
good one.
the
That's a good one.
Has gone
Thank you,
through.
Nabil.
Nabil, thank you so much. Just take 20,
Thank you for
seconds.
having me.
Just say 20 seconds and say something to Lua before you go. 20 seconds.
First of all, Lou, I'm very, very proud of you. I really am so proud of you. I'm really impressed by the things that you're doing. I'm supposed to be the star, but you're not the star. And you understand?
Nabil, thank you so
And
much.
yeah, just shine on. You're brilliant. You're a great mother. You're a great soccer mom. You're a great wife. And you're a lovely sister, holding our family down. And now you're a famous YouTuber. You see, I'm proud of you. I can't say much. I love you
He
very,
is
very
definitely
much from the
proud
bottom of my heart. You already know
of her.
that.
Thank you so much, Nabil. Do have a fantastic rest of the day out there. But don't go away yet. Just keep watching, and she has more stories to tell us. So,
I am. A very interesting show, by the way. Great show.
All right. Thanks.
Thank you.
Beautiful. This is Apex One Radio. We are broadcasting live from the United States of America. Blessing. That was a good one, right?
Yeah, that was a good one. I think I love the energy he brought because it's like, hey, this is my sister and I'm very proud of her. So I've got to shine this light brighter. Thank you again, Nabil, for coming on the show.
Okay, so this is Snapshot on Apex One Radio. We're broadcasting from the United States of America. We'll have a very short musical break again, and this time around we will do some old timers. Old timers. Let's see who we have. Maybe Jackie Bio in Ewusu, and we'll be right back with you. Don't go away. A 1998 piece of Makosa De by Jackie Bio, produced, I guess, by Foley Duran. Beautiful piece of music, of course, released so many years ago. But then that's music that still makes a lot of sense on my music taste. But it was by the time to 26 minutes to 2 here in the studio of Apex One Radio in Manchester is exactly 5:34 Manchester, from where our guests will be joining us shortly. Lua Fongod is a YouTuber, and she spans her content across several topics and, of course, quite entertaining content. Don't go away. She'll be joining us in just a couple of seconds. Meantime, thank you so much. If you are just joining the show, Christiana Tellen, you are in Finland. Thank you for your time. Achu Teresa, you are in Columbus, Ohio. Thank you for your time. Now, our guest joins us once again from Manchester. Welcome back, Lua.
Thank you.
Yeah. I saw the smiles you had there when we had Nabil speaking. At some point, you laughed off and you were like, okay. So I'm sure you are also so proud of your brother.
Yeah, I am. And it's funny that it was coincidence. I don't think Ernest knew that we were siblings when when he contacted me completely separate. I don't really like to piggyback behind my brother.
Yeah.
Because Nabil is quite known. He's been in entertainment for 20 odd years. So he was just coincident. I said to my brother, oh, I know Nabil. I said, asked my brother. So it was good to be independent.
Yes. You were making your own name and not hiding under him, but of course still working together. That's amazing. All right, then let's come back to your YouTube channel and some of the content that you have been putting up. That's over a year ago. You had loads of content on weight loss, like you mentioned earlier. And you said it might not look like it, but you were battling with this aspect of weight gain. And you even had gotten to a point where you were outgrowing your clothes. And it seemed like the clock was ticking on you and it was affecting your mental state of mind and all. Now, do you think that women out there face this particular problem? That is why they pay so much attention on weight loss, weight gain, and one of the reasons why they're fighting tooth and nail to just keep fit, and even if it goes beyond what they can handle.
Oh, absolutely. I think there's two angles to this, and I mentioned this in one of my first videos, which was actually my first sit-down video ever on weight loss. And I talked about the influence of social media and perfection. It has every woman looks perfect. I'm not saying they're perfect. I said looks perfect when you look at them out there, right? And this cannot help the pressure that we're already under. Like, we're already under pressure being a woman. You're under pressure to have kids and snap back, which is not even possible. You're under pressure. You're under pressure to always appear, because men can just throw a suit on with their beards and walk into a room and they're good. Look okay, right? But for women, it feels like it's a constant struggle. And then the peer pressure and the media pressure and the fakeness and the things like Photoshops, they don't help. So that's the first thing. And honestly, I don't think I know anybody who is not always watching their weight. Friends who are big, medium, small, we all continuously, even when you think about research, the one thing, I talked to a businesswoman on my channel once. I did like a series of financial independence, and she was a young 42-year-old who was one of the few millionaire Black women in the UK who I spoke to. And she said research had shown that two things that you can sell anything to do with: your looks and weight loss, because everybody's trying to look good and not put on weight.
That's right.
And money.
Money. I think she was right.
She was. She was.
Yeah, because most people will want to get that thing that will make them pop out and then look good. And then they also want to make sure there's some financial gain happening somewhere so they can strike a balance.
Absolutely.
And in one of your weight loss videos, you kind of trace a relationship between people working from home and sitting down on their couches the whole day and weight gain. Were there some reports about this happening? Like, did they do some research on this? How come you were talking about people working from home and weekend?
Absolutely. Minus it being just common sense, I am always on the hot seats, right? I'm always my own.
Yeah.
Like, I don't really talk about things that I don't experience. I just really can be so theoretical. And when I'm, making a video, and I know that I'm a good example of, I was on maternity leave when COVID hit in 2020 Jan, right? I'd been off for a year and I had a 10-month-old baby. And I was, normally I'll have babies and because that was my fault. I'll just jump back and I'll probably lose weight in like 6 months. I went back to work, and a month later, the world shut down in March. I'd only worked for like 6 weeks after being off and piled a lot of weight. And I yo-yo quite a bit when I have kids. I go up, down. I was in Cameroon eating, came back, and I struggled and struggled. And I got to a point where, and I share this, and I'm proud of my progress. I'm not there yet because I still have days I think to myself, oh my God, just want to cut this tummy off. I have those days, but I got to a point where I could not walk up and down the stairs, and it happened to me only like 14 years ago when I had my first, when I was ballooned. So I struggled, and I thought 1 year I couldn't lose it. I was actually putting it on, and I sat down and I thought about what's been happening, and I remembered the number of steps that I put in going to work every day. I remember once going with my mom, so that said, come and follow me to work once. And she said, do you do all this walking? I said, this is not even it. I'm trying to be nice because you're with me. Because we're putting a lot of steps in, meetings, this, that. And you just cannot really be big if you're somebody who eats right. Because I don't exercise. I don't go to the gym. I don't lift. I don't do any of that. I just try to eat right. But it wasn't working with COVID. So, because we're at home. And then I did some research and I realized that people had gained almost 65% more weight not going to the office.
Right.
So I did that video just to help. And those are the tips that helped me to kind of get back to where I am now. And that's why.
And I think it did help a whole lot of people out there, because this pandemic hit the world, not just a specific part of the world. Now, you had this as a point of interest, but if we look at it keenly, you have slowed down on the weight loss videos. Can we say that this is gradually becoming a problem that the society does not face as much as before? Or is it just that there are other pressing aspects coming up for you?
That's a very good and it's like you're trying to trap me there with that question.
I'm sorry.
So there's two things. There's only so much you can say. Like when people still contact me and they say, oh, Lua, I want to lose weight. I said into my first video, I said a lot of jargons on that video. It was 30 minutes long. Go and watch it. Whatever I said then, it stands the same today.
Okay.
Right. So there's only so much you can talk about. What I've moved into now, when I did those videos, people said my first ever feedback, which was not so positive, and it was great. She said, I hear what you're saying, but can you show us instead of tell us?
Ooh,
and I still remember, I still have that text message. She said, show us
instead of telling us.
You're sitting down, you're saying things, showing pictures, we believe you. But can you show us what you eat? And that's when I moved. And now, if you see every 3 videos, I have what I eat in a day. They're very popular on my channel. They do well because I show a typical day what I consume to maintain my weight. Instead of me telling you all of what you know about mental health and
that's beautiful. Right. So we've noticed that you've been doing a lot of videos on eating and meals as well, which is quite interesting. So tell me, still talking about videos on food, like when you go to YouTube, there are scores of videos and documentaries on food. I even watched one, there's this documentary series which I watched of this food tourist who travels across the world only eating food, which is quite interesting. How do you make your own videos different from others?
I think the first thing I try to do is I don't have any sort of diet that I don't have any cuisine. Let me use the word cuisine, not diets. Because a lot of the videos that have inspired me are non-African cuisine, because you have a lot of European or mainstream or vanilla sort of food, which is so flat. And the way I try to do mine is day-to-day practical meals that we all eat, but you can give it a twist.
Oh wow.
Right?
Yes.
And more recently, I know I'm not asking anybody not to eat meat, but recently I have been on a journey of going down the route of veganism. So I'm not going to say I'm a full-time vegan, no, because that's an insult to vegans who do it for animal rights and all sorts.
Okay.
But I'm going down that route of maybe having meat once a week and stopping it at some point. And when I look at vegan meals, it used to be so flat. And I thought it was so impossible to replicate what a vegan eats, because I like spicy, and my followers are a lot of Africans. I cannot pretend,
Me
right?
too.
So people just say, "Oh, I cannot have that in Cameroon because it's." And I keep saying you can adapt. So I have jama and fufu, right?
Which is huckleberry.
But I have a spin. As opposed to having fufu corn or pounded yam or whatever, I'll have oats fufu or cauliflower fufu, which tastes as good, but it's a good supplement. So I try to think out of the box.
Oh, wow. That's awesome. That tells us you do not do the original or typical cuisine as we see most of the YouTube channels, especially those relating to food and diet and all of that. I love the fact that you did mention that most of what you do has to do with what you've lived. And we can see that in your content, so much so that someone out there can relate to one or more or even all of these videos. Let's just dive into one quickly, which you did and had to do with celebrating 10th anniversary in marriage. I love the rolling of your eyes. Because if you didn't think it was important to put it out there, you wouldn't have. So let's bring it on here.
Sure. Whatever things you put
entertainment.
Okay, that was entertainment. But you went on about spicing it up, how you could do this. I know this was your subjective experience, but in a bit to like say, oh, those of you out there can spice it up too.
Yeah.
I love the joy we saw. You were like, yay.
I think it's just trying to balance life. And I'm tilting. I'm normally OTT, normally over the top, but more and more as I'm getting older and discovering that life is a lot deeper. I try to do things minimalistic and still valued. So our 10th wedding anniversary was meant to be a big celebration. So all my friends who were on this line were meant to be actually bridesmaids, because I didn't have a traditional white wedding. So I planned that this was going to be a big deal, and I hyped it up, and COVID did what it does. COVID killed my dreams. So the wedding never carried on until today. I still have memories of the things that I bought towards the wedding. So I decided to do this just to show that in the midst of adversity, you can still enjoy the little things in life.
Make the best out of
it. I just showcased how you can celebrate an anniversary or mark a milestone by doing something intimate and beautiful without breaking the bank.
I love this. And the glow, because we can see the images here. Your lovely kids looking so amazing. This was truly a big deal.
It was definitely a big one. All right. So, like she mentioned, you seem to also like videos which kind of touch your personal life. Do you always feel comfortable when you are the star in your content?
She shines a light on her.
Self-love.
Yeah. Shine the light on me.
Shine the light on me. Yeah. Actually, it's just because I don't have anybody else to showcase.
Yeah.
And you know, my dream is what you're doing. I like to interview people. I don't know if it's clocked on anybody else, or maybe people who know me will tell you that I really like to. And I said to Nabil, I remember I had this, I said, Nabil, I want you on my show. But because life is so hectic for me, I have not really been able to live my dream of what I want to do on YouTube. I've not landed. I'm still floating.
Yeah.
I've not landed.
There's more to come.
There's more to come. Yeah.
I was just saying, I don't think you heard that, so I want to repeat it. Can we switch roles?
Oh, yes, please.
Okay.
Yes.
There is definitely more to come. And up next is one of our protagonist friend who also knows quite much about her, who has her own story to tell about Lua. Hopefully, she'll be joining us in the next couple of seconds. Before Carol comes up, let's just have this short break with music. Once again, this is Apex Snapshots on Apex One Radio. We will be right back with you. Ruth Koto in Makosa. Beautiful piece of Makosa there by Ruth Koto. It has brought the time to 9 minutes to 2 here in the studio of Apex One Radio in the United Kingdom. It's exactly 9 minutes to 7, I guess. Yes, 9 minutes to 7. From Manchester, I guess we're moving to London. Hopefully, that will be the case. All right, let's find out if Carol is ready to join us on the show at exactly 8 minutes to 7 out there. Carol, welcome to the program. How are you today?
I'm very good, thank you. Thank you for having me as well. Thanks.
Great.
Thank you for coming on the show.
You're very welcome. I'm glad to be here.
Where is Carol speaking today? Is that London or Manchester?
Carol lives an hour away from London, so in a little town called Bracknell, which is so 1 hour commute. So Windsor is quite the very popular place next to me, 10 minutes. Windsor and Ascot, you've heard about them.
Oh wow! Okay, beautiful.
That's a good one.
All right.
Okay. Seeing that you are friends with Lua, we can say that you have had loads of experiences as well with her. But first, just so we can know a time span here, time frame, how long have you known Lua?
That's a funny you asked, right?
Yeah.
I think I met Lua when she joined Sika in 1996, I believe. So 27 years now.
Wow.
Yeah, this 27 years. So she's
That's
not
a long time.
If I may say, she's a friend turned sister, if I may say that.
Okay. We love that part. So friend turned sister. So what can you say first about this person you've known for that long? What can you say about Lua that maybe others do not know?
You'd probably have to bring it down a little bit. What can I not say about her? So if I can put
what can you not say about her?
Yeah.
Wow.
So if you ask me a specific question, I can maybe, but I can answer.
Okay, so what about Lua's personality strikes you most to keep you as a friend for this long? Friend turned sister for this long?
Okay, there are two facets to that question. What about her personality that has kept us friends for so long? The first thing I admire about Lua is the fact that she loves her family. She's a pillar and cherishes her family and the people she cares about. So all her friends and might I say, people she cares about, she really goes out of the way to care for them. But also, Lua is not afraid to reflect inwards and take stock and then start again. So she mentioned about value adding. I really, really like when she shared about adding value. I have personally watched Lua grow in many senses of the word and add value to herself and to the people around her. So she is a blessing to have as a sister, and to the people whom she cares about, they would have the same to say about Lua.
Wow.
So definitely one of the channels through which you've watched her grow as a person is her content production platform on social media. We're talking about her YouTube channel. So quickly tell us, before she started this YouTube journey, did she tell you about it, or you just got up one morning and found out she was already on it? And when you sit back and watch what she does, how would you appreciate it? How would you evaluate her work?
The first answer to your question, did she tell me before? No, she didn't. And she told me when she'd already prepared her first video and actually posted it. And mind you, I had a
surprise, right?
Correct. She wanted it as a surprise, but also I'm one of, might I call myself naysayers in this instance? And she made up her mind that she wanted to do that, and she didn't want any advice from me. She didn't want me to stop her from trying to achieve this. Obviously, she had thought about it for a very long time. And again, that's one of the things I love about her. She will not listen to naysayers. And if she does make up her mind to do something, Lua is going to do that. And that is exactly what happened with her YouTube journey. And that being said, I have watched Lua grow. I did watch the first video. I did give her a lot of feedback, my personal feedback. But what I love most about Lua's journey, if you do go back to watch her very first video, is that she put herself out there and she was quite vulnerable. And she did say people would look at her videos 10 months down the line or a year down the line and think, oh my days, what is this girl talking about? But they will be able to experience the growth. So I love the fact that she has grown from when she started and really moving towards that journey of adding value. And I can really see firsthand the value that she's adding in different facets and different exploits and different areas that she's addressing.
Yeah. And it's amazing how everyone can relate to these real life experiences of hers. And also, we just wish to find out from you, have you in any way been involved in any projects with Lua? Maybe with everything she shared, were you in some way a part of any of these projects?
I have been involved in many multiple projects, but in terms
Wow.
of YouTube, I think, quite recently I had my 40th birthday, which Lua's and a couple of friends single-handedly planned my 40th getaway and surprise. And so I was in that YouTube content. If you do go back and watch Carol's birthday getaway, you'll see me in that video. But I have to say, when you talk about project management, Lua and I have done a lot. I think ranging back from UB, the very first project which Lua championed that kind of shocked me was when I turned 20 and Lua was going to be 19. What set out to be a simple birthday, all white birthday dinner with a couple of friends ended up with a big bash, white birthday bash with about 300 people. So that's an example of Lua creating a vision and making it come to pass. So she will go out there and really get what she wants. And
one will say this is the kind of friend turned sister you want to have in your life.
Correct.
All right, so looking at our protagonist, is there anything you might have been telling her a lot off the camera or off the mic, but is there anything you love to tell her, like she's listening to you? Is there something, an advice, a word of encouragement, or something that you want to say from your heart directed?
I'll definitely say, sorry, I cut you short there. If you finish the question.
No, it's okay. It's okay.
Right. So I'll definitely say keep growing. You are growing. We are all growing, but I've experienced firsthand how much you've grown in different areas. Keep valuing relationships. Do not burn bridges. Keep taking stock again and then reflecting. I think one of the things I love most about you is, what you have actually grown from is impulse and reacting really quickly. I can watch you now sit back and take stock and reflect and then rethink your steps and then start again. Keep doing that, but don't burn bridges. That's one big advice that I'll give you.
Keep doing what you're doing, but don't burn bridges. Lua, I just want you to add to that before she leaves.
It's very predicted. I speak to Carol 3 times a day, so I can guess what she's about to say, and I appreciate it, and it's very, very honest and deep advice for those who understand. So yeah, thank you. Stop taking.
Carol, I want to thank you so much, and it was important that we brought somebody who knows Lua better than we do. Thank you so much. Definitely you'll be back on this platform for a similar opportunity. You have a fantastic rest of the day out there, and may God bless you.
God bless you too. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming.
Bye. All right. This is Apex One Radio. We are gradually but steadily moving to the end of the show.
Yes. So while getting to that point where we draw the curtains on Apex Snapshot, our protagonist, Lua Fongod Achu, is still here. And given that she's been giving us a whole lot about her experiences on her social media handle, which is her YouTube channel, Lua Lee, I think so, right?
Yes.
Okay, I wanted to be sure I pronounced that right. Sure. She's been giving us a whole lot. So please, let's just find out from you. Is there any video you regret doing?
Ooh. Right.
Okay, I love that pause.
Oh, God. The thing is, I try my best not to regret things that I do. So I always like to think before I do anything, because I like to be responsible for my actions. But one thing that I'll say is, there's a video that I did, right?
Yeah.
And it's brought so much controversy. It's calmed down now. And I'm normally a slightly controversial person. I don't conform to any norms, and I'm a non-conformist, and that's me.
Okay.
I'll say how I feel, irrespective of what the effects are, with caution.
Did you suspect that video was going to be controversial when you did it?
I suspected it was. I knew that I'll have a lot of backlash, but I did not realize how far that was going to go.
That did not stop you from going ahead.
Sadly so, no.
Okay.
Controversial.
I like that.
And I have to say that if I was doing that video now, because I was newish to YouTube, the video actually was a year ago, and I've been on YouTube for less than a year. And sometimes like you can say you have a big gulp or a big mouth, and sometimes I hear things and I think that's a lot of BS, and I can just ignore. And sometimes I have to say how I feel. So this video was a reaction. And I don't like to do reactions, and I don't like stuff like that, because it derails me down a path I don't want to go, to start bickering. I find that a waste of my time. But this was I didn't know how well-known she was. She was a well-known YouTuber. Massive. She's grown massively since then. Obviously, people grow a lot. But then she was moderate, and I loved her. I used to spend hours doing stuff with my earpiece and just absorbing what she said. So I believed in her, right? And I made the fatal error of expecting her to conform to what I thought was right. And I don't say that I regret it fully, because, believe it or not, it actually gave me one of my most not only views, but people who have stuck with me, and the fact that I had the guts to talk against one of the most loved women on YouTube. People said, for your courage, I'll subscribe.
I'll stick with you.
I'll stick with you. And I might have had videos that give me more subscribers, but in terms of, what's the word I'm looking for? Loyalty. Because it's the core belief that I had. So she did a video, and you can watch it. It's way too long to talk about it, but she talked about her experience with the clairvoyant, like a native doctor. I just thought, oh my God, not you, not on not on a platform like this. And I did a video, and I was tiny. I was not even 1,000 subscribers. I was a tiny midget.
Teeny beeny bit.
Right. Yes. And she had 300,000, whatever. She was massive. And that video, oh my God, I've learned not to delete comments, but I can tell you that I had almost 300 hate comments and maybe 200 loved comments. So it was a turning point in my YouTube career with my opinion. And yeah, I regret it a little bit because till today, it's somebody who I could approach and say, Fumi, let's do something together in the future. But now I feel like she hates me.
Oh, I don't think she hates you. She just probably hates the fact that you addressed that. Okay.
Suppose so. So yeah, that's one video I regret doing.
So,
okay.
Is there any video you would be caught watching all the time or going back to it over and over?
The one video that I'm so happy that I did that I watch a lot is about my grandmom.
Oh.
So I was in Cameroon at some point in March last year for a wedding. And I went to see my grandmom, who 93-year-old. So, and I spent a lot of time with my grandma when I was younger. And I did a video when I arrived at the house, spent some time with her, and I did a sit down with her. She was well. No issues. And she said, oh, bring your camera. Let's do something together. I was just laughing, Mommy, wait till you want to talk. And she's like, let's do something. And we recorded a sit down. It was not very clear. A lot of the parts of the video I couldn't post because she was not very clear. And I came back to the UK and she passed away a few weeks after. So that is one video that I kind of find myself watching because it was like the last most memorable memories. Her kids were all abroad. My mom was here, actually my kids in the UK when I went. So it's one of the best videos that I did, and I kind of watch it secretly quite a bit.
She's smiling down on you right now.
I suppose so. Yeah.
Any plans to expand your channel for partnership or collaborations?
Yes, a lot that I can't talk about yet.
Okay.
But
we don't want to let the cat out of the bag.
Yes, I have some plans, some big plans. But one thing I want to say is it's baby steps, right? And the Rome was not built in a day. And I'm taking this at pace because I've got a main demanding job. I've got a big family. So this is, although I love YouTube, after I leave from here, I'll probably go and be cleaning, giving kids a bath and catching up on my emails. And there's still a life out of
mommy
the camera.
Duties.
But I want to reach out I want to work with women in deprived regions. Okay. And that's all I can say for now, which is something that I'm working on a bigger platform.
Okay, that's interesting. Any setbacks? Any challenges?
Time management.
Okay.
That's right. With a lot on her plate or on her table, juggling everything and still being effective and all must take a lot of time.
I need an assistant that I don't need
so
to pay.
far.
All right, great. Today is February 24th. It's a Friday, right? So when are we looking up to the next upload?
I had one today.
Oh, you had one today?
Okay, we need to visit that.
Okay. As soon as we're done.
And I have one tomorrow, which will be interesting. I talked about trying to be a vegan. And a lot of people are like, I'm very interested, but I want nice food. So I have a week of vegan African meals, which is one that if you're trying to maybe lose weight, just avoid eating too much red meat. I've chatted normal food like ndole, koki, everything that we eat, but I gave it a twist. So I have one on a week of vegan meals, African meals.
Okay, I think I need to do that. So I think I need to cut down, right?
All right. I just saw that. I gifted my dad with the house. Is that you? I gifted my dad with
That's
the
me.
house. He has also. Okay, that's 3 hours ago.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Beautiful. All right. I like the consistency. I like the consistency. And I mean, she's doing really good.
Yeah.
So how can...
I believe our viewers out there would love to know, right? How can we get to your channel? How do we get to follow you? Maybe you know best how to direct them on what they should do, where they should go to, what name they should look for, and all of that.
Lua Lee, I kept my names because Lua is my first name and Lee is my middle name, Lih.
Okay.
So my YouTube, all my social media handles have the same name now, except Facebook, that's still Lua Fongod Achu. But Instagram, it's Lua Lee. I don't know if you're able to put it, but on the comment section, if anybody, Lua Lee, and on YouTube, and I'm actually on TikTok recently as well, all Lua Lee. So yeah.
Lua Lee.
Yes, so that is LUA. That's for Lua, and then LIH for Lee.
Yes, LIH for Lee. Yeah.
Okay,
that's great.
So these are the platforms they can directly get to you. Instagram as well. That's
Correct.
a lovely one. I must say that it's quite interesting. We wish we could unwrap everything about the subject matters you've been addressing, but of course, every journey that has a start has an end.
Unless there is something we do not say, which you would have wanted us to say before we leave, or something we said which would have held back. We said everything?
No, yeah, that's everything.
Okay.
That's everything.
I think people would
part.
love to know you do finances too.
They do. Yes. Finances is something that I would not say that I'm a millionaire or a billionaire or rich. I just find out that it's not about how much you have, it's how you can manage what you've got. And that's what makes you wealthy, rich, mind, and all that. But as I said, I put myself on the hot seat, and I had a bit of a crazy late 20s. And when I turned 30, I started being slightly more deliberate with money, expenditure, smarter, saving better, and just making right decisions, knowing about interest rates, those kind of boring things that I didn't know about before. And I think that younger people need to pay attention on where your savings are kept. ISA, bonds, shares, investments, and things like that.
Wow. Thank you.
Lonely on YouTube. So go there, just get on YouTube. Press your fingers on your keyboard. LUA for Lua, then LIH for Lee. You will be watching beautiful works. So, like we mentioned earlier on, she's YouTube content maker. I want to thank you so much for all the information and, of course, everything. We will keep a watch when the need arises again. We will have you come back to this platform and explain more videos, because those videos are really informative, educative, and even entertaining. So I want to thank you so much for joining us on the program today, Lua.
Thank you.
It's been a great pleasure having you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And yeah, I thought, just out of interest, did you have somebody else, one of my friends, or is that it?
Well, we missed out on Petra, probably due to technical reasons, but hopefully we'll have her back.
Thank you so much and I feel honored, right? I put it on my community tab on YouTube. I said, I am the big YouTubers, Cameroonians, Nigerians, and to be contacted to come off the cuff without me even reaching out, I feel that this is the push I needed, and I'm really grateful for the opportunity. And just to have a chat and somebody to say you're doing a good job, it really makes me feel like I need to keep going. So thank you for your time as well.
Right. We also want to encourage you and just keep doing what you do. Like I mentioned some time ago, whatever you do, somebody somewhere is watching you, and someday, somehow, they will come, wanting to know more from you. So thank you once again, and do have a fantastic rest of the day out there.
Thank you for having me, and have a nice weekend.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
All right. So we've come to the journey's end.
It's been quite a ride with lots of information to take, loads of steps to go and actually start practicing. And I'm very, very sure that our listeners and viewers have picked up a lot as well. It's been a great ride with you today, Ernest.
It's been a wonderful ride with you as well. Blessing. And from all of us on Apex One Radio, including producer Marcel, we want to say thank you so much for your kind attention. And we're wishing you a wonderful weekend ahead. And thanks once again for being with us. Keep listening to programs on Apex One
And
Radio.
keep shining your light.
Bye.